Go get him a manicure and see if he likes his nails like that.
Where am I going to do that?
That was a stupid sentence that I just said. That was a stupid thing.
Are you kidding me? Gee. Do you make your bed every morning?
No.
Why? Oh, jeez. It's coming out hot.
That's such a waste of time. There's no reason
what
to.
What do you mean it's a waste of time? How long do you think it takes to make a bed?
No, not how long. I never said it was long. It's a waste of time. Like there's
it's not a waste of time.
No one's
really?
going.
It's not a waste of time. No, it's not. It's not a waste of time. It takes 2 minutes at most to make the bed.
Right. Who's
your problem?
Who's gonna see it? Who cares?
I care.
You
should care.
I do occasionally.
The presentation of your room should care. It should
presentation
show
for
a
who?
sense of completion and show like, okay, I am ready.
Wow, just coming out hot this morning.
Made. It is clean.
Who cares? I'll try to keep my desk tidy. Like I've used to have like a pretty untidy desk, and I'm trying.
Who cares? See, I can say that too.
Wait, are you serious though, or are you just trying to exact revenge for me telling you who cares to something that apparently you care very strongly about?
I think what bothers me is less of you don't make the bed and how it bothers me less of that. What bothers me is how quickly you responded to, "Oh no, that's a waste of time."
It is.
Why? I'll give you a chance to state your case because I wasn't listening to a word you said earlier.
It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't do anything. Like, who cares? Again, like there's. It does nothing for anyone. It
okay.
Like, okay, maybe it helps you mentally. Cool. If that is the case, you get it, dude. It's all you. But for me, and my life, and my wife, we don't really care.
When you go to a hotel and you expect them to do bed service, whatever it's called, and they change all the towels, they change out all the
regular stuff.
All the regular stuff, but they don't make the bed. Are you okay with that, or are you bothered by it?
I don't know. If I was expecting it, then I would care. Like that's the difference. Is if I was ever asked, "Hey, today can you make the bed?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure." Whatever. Like maybe your parents are coming over and they want to see the whole house, and so we want to make it presentable or something like that. Sure. But on a typical day where it's like, "Hey, we're just getting up, we're leaving for work, we'll be back home later tonight," and we'll be going back to bed. Like, no, I'm not going to make the bed for that. Who's going to enjoy it? The spiders? The spiders are going to be like, "Ooh, yeah."
No, not the spiders.
This is nicely made bed. You know what? This is a nice house. We're going to leave.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you ever just lay on your bed, not in your bed, but just on your bed when you are just done from work?
No. That's more of a couch. The bed is for sleeping.
You never actually take a nap during the day on your bed?
No. Like, I would say rarely. Like on the actual bed itself, that is a rare occurrence.
Well, do you ever find yourself on your bed and you can't find comfort because all the sheets and covers and minkies or mishmashed and just kind of tossed about and digging into your back, and then you have to straighten it all out so it's a nice smooth mattress bed again?
On rare occasions, but we only have one blanket on the bed.
Okay, but those rare occasions you do find that.
I mean, it just takes a quick kick the blanket into order. But we try to you get in bed and you give the blanket a flick, get it into order, so you're just comfy as you go to bed.
I think I get your point of if it helps you mentally, then fine. Who are you to yuck somebody's yum? And for me, I guess that's what it is. It's a mental state that gives me peace of mind. When I go back into my room, and the bed is not made, as I did earlier. Actually, before we actually started recording, before I watched the Apex Legends trailer, I went to go say something to Aurelia. I thought she was in the bedroom. She was not. And I saw the bed was not made. And generally, I'm the one that makes the bed. And so I felt, well, I've got an extra 2 or 3 minutes. I will just make the bed as best I can within this short time frame. It's not going to be perfect. I don't expect a mint on my pillow, okay? I don't expect it to be hospital folded or whatever they call it. No, I'm not expecting that. For me, I like to walk into my room, and even with all the crap that might be on my dresser or on the floor or whatever, if the bed itself is as clean and as tidy can be, honestly, that just gives me a little sense of joy.
So do you make your kids do the same?
1,000%. When I lived over there, yeah, you make your bed. What are you doing? You clean your room.
Is that a hill that you die on though? Like if it's not done, it's like, oh, it's the end of the world.
No, because here's what happens. You tell them to make their bed at an early age, then it gets just drilled into them like, oh, I have to make my bed. Are they going to forget? All the time. You have to drill it back in. Like, hey, make your bed. Okay. And then when they get to, 37, my age right now, making the bed's not such a big deal. And it gives a nice, kind of sense to the room.
Meh.
What a great response. Very, very diplomatic.
Well thought out.
Very well thought out. Yeah, it's very well thought out. I really like that. No, if I felt, and I could probably ask Aurelia as well too, but I think I would be losing an uphill battle because she's not a bed maker herself. If I were to say, hey, we need to have Nicholas start making his bed in the morning, she would scoff at me.
Yeah, wait, she doesn't make him?
She doesn't make him. She doesn't even. So she makes our bed now sometimes because I make the bed.
Right. She does it because she likes you and she wants to make you happy.
I think she likes me. Yeah, she likes me a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, she generally will not make the bed. She was surprised to see the fact that I do make the bed, and even when I had that little apartment, that little studio, that crummy studio apartment, I made the bed there. And I think that was the first time that she had noticed, wow, do you make the bed every morning? And without skipping a beat, I'm like, yeah, don't you? She's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this is going to be interesting.
Speaking of kids, though, I actually had a question for you. How do you handle bedtime for your kids?
Well, with Nicholas, it's actually quite easy. He is not a night owl. So even when we're hanging out on the weekends playing Cards Against Humanity, or even yesterday we were playing Mortal Kombat, when he gets tired, he will go to sleep. Like, that's just him. And sometimes it's 9:30, sometimes it's 10:30. But he's not one to stay up till the wee hours of the morning. At least not out here. I don't know. Maybe he watches YouTube till 3 a.m. in his room. I have no control over that. But from being out in the open to going to bed, he has a pretty good gauge as to when he needs to go to bed. It's during the week when it like normal school time, where he will be distracted by video games or what have you, that one of us might have to step in. Mm-hmm. And that's around 9 o'clock. I believe on the weekdays 9:30 is his bedtime. There's been some times where he's been in the middle of a match or in the middle of something in this video game called Rust that I know you know a little bit about, and he will come running to us saying, "Can you give me 30 more minutes on Rust?" Because I have time limitations with parental controls on his computer. So can you please give me? And my first inclination is, yeah, no, I get it. Right? I'm a gamer. Right. I get it. But But then at the same time, I'm also a parent. I have to look over to Aurelia, and her reaction as more of a parent, less of a gamer, is, why? It's like, because we have to do this thing, and this thing has to happen now, and if I'm not there, we're gonna lose, and we worked all this way, and we gotta do the thing. And sometimes, kind of depending on how he's acted throughout the day, we will say yay or nay.
Okay.
With my other kids, it's same thing. It's pretty much, you create a schedule. You create an outline. You create a structure for them. Now, structures, as much as you want them to be solidified, they can waver. And sometimes that's because of us as parents, or sometimes, as my son Franklin is in high school, he will be doing homework to the wee hours of the morning. I have to allow for that as long as he's doing homework.
Which is a terrible thing in its own right, but...
Yeah, but it's less of a terrible thing of the school system and more of him being a teenager and not being able to focus.
I'll give it a little column A, a little column B, because I'm a big proprietor of anti-homework.
No, I agree. I looked at his homework load that he has to take on each day, and from my point of view, it's not a lot. It's really not a lot. What becomes a lot is if you put it off.
Right.
Because especially right now, we're in this situation where homework is not a daily thing. Homework is a weekly thing. By the end of this week, you must submit all of these things. And kids will be kids and say, "Oh, okay.
So I'm doing this on Friday.
I will do this on Thursday, or I'll do it on Wednesday. I'll do a little bit today because I'm not dumb. It's Monday. I'll do a little bit today, but I'll ramp it up and do the rest on Wednesday, Thursday, and then last minute on Friday. But what really happens is, oh my god, I totally forgot about this thing. Or as parents, we get a notification in our email saying so and so has this amount of incompleted work. It's like, wait.
I was asking because I saw a different type of sleep schedule model. Specifically, we're more focused on the weekends. But what it was is for the kid, it was like a little more autonomy, which was like, hey, you can stay up late. You can stay up super late. Like nothing crazy. We're not talking 4 a.m. But you know what? You can be up until 2. But you got to be up and you got to be able to get chores done. And chores start at 10:30. And if you want to get up at 9:30, you want to have breakfast, you want to watch some cartoons, sure. But if you wake up at 10:30, if you want to sleep in, you're going to be going straight to chores. And I wanted to see, as a parent, what your thoughts were on the more autonomous, you can stay up, you just got to get your stuff done.
That is the, that is the kind of utopian Valhalla best case scenario, right? But the thing is, you also have to take into account that children do need their sleep. They do. Their brains need their sleep to evolve properly. And if you let them, even if they are doing the things that they need to do at 2 a.m, and they don't get at least 6 hours of good sleep, and that is a continuous thing, day after day, week after week, month after month, and so on, that could affect them later on in life. I'm no scientist, okay, but and I don't have any irrevocable proof right now, but there have been a number of studies that I've seen and read and have been peer-reviewed that said something similar to what I'm stating, which is they have to have at least 6 hours of sleep per night.
Yeah, and this is still doing that though. This is still you have to meet.
Is it though?
Yeah. No,
because you're saying you can stay up as late as you want, but if they have to get up at 7 a.m. for school, well then there goes your average 6 hours of sleep time.
Remember the first part of this though. This is mainly focused on the weekends.
Yeah, we still impose a bedtime on the weekend, and I think it really does come back to, you need to have a good, decent night's sleep, and wake up at a reasonable hour. The biggest problem is, on the weekdays, on a normal weekday, you wake up at 6, maybe 7 if you're lucky, and then you go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then you do that day in and day out. And then on the weekend, all of a sudden, you can stay up till 2 in the morning and then go to sleep and then wake up at 11, and it screws up your sleep cycle for 2 days. And then you got to get back into the regular sleep schedule. And for some people that works out fine. Some people that's not such a big deal. But I feel like the overarching issue is that it will cause it could potentially cause other like focal issues for that child, where it might, I don't know, just not allow them to get on track with our circadian rhythm.
Interesting.
Also, by the way, Aurelia, because she is here at the house, she decided, I'm going to show Tony. She found, and I don't know what she searched for. Aurelia, I don't know what you looked up, but she found on Today.com, BBC UK, and RD.com articles basically stating the reason scientists say you shouldn't make your bed. Now,
should not?
Should not.
Oh.
Now,
I would love to know.
This is a screenshot. These articles, and so this is the other thing, and I would look into, because these articles are quite old. One's from 2015, one's from 2005, and the other one does not have a date next to it.
Okay.
So one is from 2017, arguably a little bit closer to today's date.
Okay.
But it's a possibility that, just like any other form of science, like, peer review happens and people go back in and check the numbers. It's quite possible that there's been an updated study to this. I don't know. I could look it up right now.
What's the answer?
But I'm not going to.
You're saying there's reasons to not. What are the reasons?
Oh, I'm not going to look it up. I'm just saying, like,
there's reasons to not. What are the reasons? They're there.
No, this is her. This is her passive aggressive "I told you so" methodology.
We'll give her a high five from me.
As she's leaving the studio, as she's leaving the garage, she's on her phone, clicking away like, "Aha! I found evidence. I shouldn't make my bed. Screenshot. Send to Tony."
We'll tell her I'm proud.
You went shooting this weekend.
I did, and
how was that?
It was a mixed bag.
Well, what was in this bag, and what made it so mixable?
Shooting itself with fam, super fun, super duper fun. Don't get me wrong, wouldn't trade that for the world. One of the sniper rifles we had wasn't properly mounted, and that bruised my shoulder, which is kind of par for the course, whatever. We can do better kind of thing. The area had a lot of biting gnats, I already have an issue with bugs, and so that wasn't super fun for me mentally. Just getting eaten alive the entire time.
Let's talk about the bugs in a second. How was the shooting? What did you shoot? How was the shooting? How did you do? Who'd you go with, first of all?
Guns. No, wait. What? I was with my wife's side of the family, and we shot guns.
Very
I
well
couldn't.
done.
I couldn't
Nice.
name off the
guns, guys. He went shooting and didn't throw vacuums. He shot guns.
How do you know I didn't throw a vacuum?
Did you throw a
I
vacuum?
did not.
Okay, I rest my case. But you basically you don't know what kind of guns.
No,
you know that there was a shotgun. You know there was a what else? Was there a sniper?
Multiple shotguns, multiple sniper rifles, couple 22s. I know that.
Where'd you guys go? Just into the desert?
Yeah, just in the side of a mountain.
Well, hold on. Here's a question, and I'm not trying to put your wife's family on blast here, but 6 feet social distancing. What happened there?
No, I drove out there myself. We all kind of were outdoors and kind of away from each other. I think I was within 6 feet just a couple times with people. I was trying to be aware. I wasn't giving people hugs. I wasn't trying to be interactive with people.
Wait, so you were trying to give hugs or no hugs?
No hugs.
No hugs given.
Anti-hug, trying to actively avoid contact.
What about handshakes?
No
and knuckle bumps?
No handshakes. A knuckle bump here and there, but then being aware of like, okay, I did this thing, so now don't touch my face. Don't touch my everything.
Sure. Look, I'm not trying to say don't hang out with your family.
No, I get it. But
I'm kind of trying to say don't hang out with your family. I kind of am in a way. Like, you and I both went on this whole thing about 2 weeks ago, how people are still getting together, and it's screwing up the I forget what the term is called now, but trying to lessen or maintain the status quo of how quickly this virus can spread. And I'm not saying anyone in your family has it. Arguably, we won't know for 2 weeks, right? Because it takes
and that's another thing is like these are people that I think have been very diligent on their quarantine and been trying to stay away from people and to stay away from things, and we're trying to do the same during that. They weren't trying to oh, let me give you a hug, and I'm not the one having to be the guy that has to be like, guys, did you forget something? No.
Yeah, but you kind of should be, dude.
No. I didn't have to. Not that I wouldn't. I would 100%. If one of them was like, hey, let me give you a hug, I would have no hesitation to be like, hey, dude, hello.
Okay, I get your point.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I didn't have to do it because they didn't offer it. They didn't say, hey, give me a hug.
I mean, I guess I'm kind of somewhat of a hypocrite because on my
birthday,
not on my birthday, but the day after my birthday, my future mother-in-law did come over to feed us a cake that she had bought. Now in that scenario, we all pretty much did kind of separate. We had our own chairs. We took up the whole garage, and everybody kind of had their own corner. Mm-hmm. Nobody hugged anybody, high-fived or anything. Her mother does still go to work, I believe, because she's considered a other than just an invaluable member of society, but she's also a essential worker. So she goes and does that, and you're right. I think we all feel like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with so and so at this place, at their place or whatever, and it's fine because they're fine and I'm fine and we've been fine separately, and as long as nothing comes in between us between now and our scheduled rendezvous point and time, we should all be fine. And that, I think, is the issue that other people have, and to a degree, even you and I have, is that we err on the side of, oh, we are fine. I think we're taking it way. We're still taking it way too lightly.
Yeah. No, that's the hard thing. Is it's. I wouldn't even say it's that. It's like an in-between, though. Like, it's not... It's like we're seeing each other, but it's like, okay, when we see each other, we've got to walk our walk now that we've talked our talk. Like, we need to maintain a distance between each other. We need to hang out without hanging out.
Right.
Like, we can see each other, but from a distance.
Did you guys wear masks or gloves?
No.
So I was watching this... YouTube video of these guys from Corridor Digital. They're a special effects house. They show a bunch of their stuff on YouTube. And one of their members is a very big proponent in the one wheel community. You've seen the one wheel? Remember the one wheel from CES?
Yeah,
it's
like a unicycle, but motorized.
Yeah, motorized unicycle that's like a skateboard with a giant wheel in the middle.
Right.
Anyways, so during the quarantine, one of his other buddies had purchased a one wheel, and they were being taught this very advanced one wheel trick that I don't remember what it was called. But on the one wheel from the street, you can nudge yourself up onto the sidewalk, and it's quite difficult, and it takes a lot of balance and a lot of finesse, kind of like a kickflip without actually going into the air. If you know what a kick, or even an ollie on a skateboard, but without going into the air. Anyways, they were their whole thing was, you guys might be yelling at us for hanging out together, but here's the deal. As far as we know, this virus can only be spread by being in very close quarters with each other and by touching. We all have gloves, we all have masks on, and we are very aware of staying at least 6 feet apart from each other. And so what I took from that was, I feel like that was not necessarily reckless behavior, but it still errs on the side of this is all we know of what this virus can do. As far as we know, it cannot go airborne. So sure, at least not farther than 6 feet. But with everything else, they're wearing gloves, they're wearing masks. I think they should be okay. So like for me, like Aurelia and I, we just went on for a walk yesterday, which I desperately needed. And even though it's just us two walking around and nobody's around us, I wore a mask.
Interesting.
On our walk. Also, it helped for my allergies because pollen can go to hell.
Maybe you'll just wear a mask always. The pandemic's over. Pollen isn't. Oh, well, okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm.
No, I think that's
I don't
an appropriate
mean
reaction.
to sound
we
too harsh.
We didn't have gloves and masks and stuff, but we also were outdoors and pretty far away from each other. I probably can count on one hand the times that I was within a few feet of someone. Like I specifically was asking, don't.
If you have firearms, I would hope that you're not too close to each other.
Yeah, that was the easy thing. It's like it's an activity where you're even normally you're not usually like right on top of each other.
Yeah. In any event, if we had to give any kind of PSA, because obviously people come to us.
Because we're the experts, obviously. I mean, it seems like nowadays everyone is. So why not us?
Why not us? If you can, wear a mask, wear gloves, and stop touching people.
I regularly walk up to people on the street and they're just like, "Hey, can I rub your face with my face?"
And that's how we met Maddie. Apple now has for sale these wheels for their Mac Pros. The giant towers. Kind of cool looking. They got a cheese grate design on them. They can be worth all the way up to like 20 to 30 grand, depending on what kind of like internals that you put in there.
Right.
Quite expensive.
Right.
Now the wheels, though, however, allow you to move this Mac Pro around your office, your studio, whatever. The wheels themselves are $700.
No.
Discuss.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my word, that's so much money. No. That's too much.
Okay. Now let's look at Apple's history.
Oh no, we don't need to. Like I get the monitor stand that was $1,000.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
I feel like super Apple fans will buy this and not even put it on their Mac Pro. They'll put it on their mantle.
Oh my word.
They'll open up the box just enough so you can see the wheels, right? And then have it propped up like some sort of trophy piece.
There you go. Yeah, I could see that. No, oh no. Again. Did they announce it during a conference? Was there
these wheels have been people have known that these wheels are coming out. I mean, they've been seen before, and I think they had mentioned at the conference that they would be available at a later date, but it wasn't until yesterday that they actually went on sale.
Okay.
And some YouTubers already have it, which is how I kind of came across it. One, your favorite, Unbox Therapy, the way that he opens it is just hilarious. He said I think the video itself is like 12 to 13 minutes long. And it's him staring at the box with this extremely ethereal music in the background. He's like, what the heck is in here? And he slowly opens it up, and he opens up all the wheels. He picks up all the wheels. He looks at it left and right, down and center, puts them back in the box, closes the box, stares at the box on his desk with this look of bewilderment, and then puts a plant on it. And that's how the video ends.
Okay.
Like, oh.
You know what? He could win. he can have one.
Yeah.
That's great.
No, I get it why Apple, because they're not going to make any money from this, but I get that they're trying to not necessarily appease their Mac Pro like super fan base, but just the super fans in general. Do you remember the book that Apple came out with, like the history of Apple?
The history book of Apple.
It was like $500 for a picture book or something. It was insane.
Yeah.
But people bought it.
Oh, yeah. People always will.
People always will. Now, my question to you is, what would happen if a company like Microsoft were to do something like that? Would people be very similarly appalled and amazed and excited? Or would it just be so out of left field for Microsoft to come out with something like that?
I think you would have the appall without as many super fans, because I feel like the fans of Microsoft are more budget conscious. I feel like, and that's not even a dig at Apple fans. It's just like they have a little bit more focus towards that. I think in broad strokes, you'd still find people that would buy it. I mean, you nail two things together, you're going to find someone who would buy it. I feel like it would just be, it would sell less just for the fact of that's not their type of clientele.
I mean, if you think about it, when we came out with the first Elite controller, what was it, back in 2015?
Something like that.
That we did? Yeah. I think there were people that were like, "Oh my, who's going to spend $150 for this controller? You have to be insane." But what happened was that people found out that it was quite useful. Like, it was more than just a controller.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely was catered toward professional gamers, and it had all the like attributes of a professional gamer's like hardware, their tools, something that would stand the test of time. I mean, it didn't, but you know, it is closer than the existing controller. Mm-hmm. Had better grips, the multiple paddles on the bottom. I mean, like there was a use case for it,
right? Well, you're talking. That's not even the same example though. Like, you got to get something that's completely useless in this scenario, right? You got to get. So something...
that's what I'm. That was my next follow up.
Oh, okay.
Then my next follow up is, what is something completely useless that we have come out with that we had to pay for?
Oh man,
that was like not necessarily a status symbol, but if you did have it, it was like, wow, you have one of those. That's pretty cool. And I think the only thing I can think of is the Harman Kardon Cortana speaker. Because before that went on sale for $250, I think it was even more expensive than that.
Even that's still useful, though. Like, it still has a purpose. It still, like, does more than... The difference is you're going to need something that does the exact same function to the T with it being incredibly cheap. And you can get cheaper speakers for sure, but they're not going to be as good.
No, you're right. They sounded pretty great.
Yeah, so that's the hard thing, is it's what's the price of something that has equivalent capabilities, I guess. Yeah, I can't think of anything. Like, the only thing I can think of is maybe the gear store for Xbox, where you can buy like shirts and stuff like that. And there's like mouse pads and stuff that are arguably I would have said in the past, I
Yeah,
would have said
wouldn't-
overpriced, but after getting some of the stuff, it's really high quality.
Sure.
Like, it lasts.
Yeah, especially the MetaThread stuff.
Yeah, that stuff's built for a shirt.
Yeah.
It's built.
And the shirt that I just recently got, very breathable.
Oh yeah, that's like an
Yeah.
exercise shirt.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. But no, I would say anything that's in the as a fan, that's okay. I mean, because like when you look at collectibles, that's where that falls into. Like whether it's a wearable collectible
Right.
or something that you put on your mantle, that's okay. Apple's trying to say that these wheels are not collectibles. You're supposed to use them, but you and I are both saying no. Just go to Home Depot and get wheels for $6
Or
a pop.
IKEA.
Or IKEA, right. Either way, you can get something for much less and it will do the exact same thing. I don't think Microsoft, as of right now, necessarily has an accessory or hardware where someone else could come out and say, I have the exact same thing that Microsoft is selling, but I have it for $20 and it works the exact same way. I don't think that there is anything. Now, granted, sure, there are things that Microsoft sells and then someone else can say, well, no, mine is cheaper, but it's not necessarily like it's not really an apples to apples comparison.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything that falls into that category of completely useless in terms of the price increase. But who knows? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe there is something, and somebody can let us know and be like, "Oh no, actually, they came out with a giant book that's all about programming on DOS, and the book was released last year."
What it was? Where can I buy this book? I know last year you and I said that I shouldn't buy this because at the time I didn't really need it. It was more of a want versus a need.
You got a Stream Deck, didn't you?
I got a Stream Deck. I'm so excited.
Oh my word!
Actually,
how did I?
It was supposed to come tomorrow, but it's coming today.
Dude, I love that.
I'm very, very
Side note.
excited.
Love when that happens.
What?
I love when that happens when you.
Oh, I love when that happens.
When you
yeah.
like order something and it's like surprise, it's gonna come in a day early. You're like, oh my gosh, it's Christmas.
Well, no, because I looked at the UPS, the UPS thing, and it said where it is and what it's doing, and how it's hanging and everything, and it said, okay, it's in San Pablo. Now, where San Pablo is in relation to where I am, that's maybe 30 minutes that away. I'm like, okay, that's quite close. On a Monday, and it's supposed to be here Wednesday, I'll probably get it. And then the next thing said, it's in Oakland. Oakland's actually 45 minutes that way.
Oh wait, no,
I'm like,
no, wait.
Wrong direction. Wrong direction.
Come back.
So that's where it was last night. And then I woke up this morning and I checked the shipping, and it actually said that it was in a city called Suisun City, which is 10 minutes over that way. And so I was like, okay, this has got to arrive to me sometime today. And then shortly after that, I received a letter from Best Buy saying, hey, you're going to get your thing a day early. And I was very, very excited because you and I both have a thing on Thursday that I'm very excited to do. No pressure, but everybody's going to be watching. And I would love for the Stream Deck to be in its full force, like ready to roll.
Mm-hmm.
And more for the podcast, I would like to get to a point where we could somehow use the Stream Deck with our podcast and record video. Not be live, but we would we would record video and have different scenes. Like when you're talking, the camera would focus on you, kind of like what I tried to do in Utah.
Right. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So I'm very, very excited. I think it's a very sound investment. Also, I've been on a Stream Deck YouTube rabbit hole of what you can do with the Stream Deck, and oh my god, Jesus! No, because last year when I was looking at the Stream Deck, each little button had a single purpose. it does this.
Mm-hmm.
But now the little buttons can have macros purposes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I can hit the button and it does this with that, and if this, then that, then does that, and does that with that, and the other thing does that, and I want it to do this, and it does it.
Dude, that's really cool.
So I'm going to be messing around with that either later today on my stream or tomorrow during other streams just to kind of muck around with it. But yeah, it's been very happy. But you finally got something as well too that makes Beat Saber super fun. How is the Darth Maul saber holder thing, and how does that even work?
It's a mod. You have to change like a ton of settings in a mod to like you have to change how like notes work and how things interact with each other and how just basically the game is played. And then you can have fun with the Maul saber. But it's been fun. It's less about like skill and more just having fun.
So let me ask you though, the thing that you have been waiting for in the mail, what is that? What does that do?
It's basically just a rod. Like it's a rod that has two holes at the end to hook the controllers into, and then the controllers are tracked so it can act like a dual-ended blade. Okay,
but how do the controllers stay in said rod? And not just fly out and crash your computer screen.
They slide in with the bottom half of the controller, and then they have straps that go around the loops of the controller and kind of lock it into place. It's really sturdy.
Is it then?
Yeah, it's surprisingly sturdy.
Well, that's good. I mean, the last thing I want to see in our group meet chat is, well, I got to get a new monitor and TV because this happened.
Oh, my word. No, that was one thing that was a big search on mine. It was like, okay, how stable is this? Because we're not looking for, it's not too bad. I need it to be, wow, this thing is built.
Yeah. Now, I remember when you had talked about it and you were kind of trying to describe it to us when we were there in Utah. I'd seen videos and everything, but I still couldn't really piece it together. But now that you actually you showed a picture of us, or showed a picture of it to us, and it makes a lot more sense. But that was the big question, like how do they lock into place? So
right,
all right, that makes more sense.
Yep. No, you want to talk about things that are coming though. We are going to be getting Google Fiber fairly soon, and I have a very funny story to tell of that. So I hit up Google. They've had Google Fiber construction on our street for what feels like about a couple months now, on and off. With everything going on, it kind of makes sense because they probably put things on pause and let people go home and non-essential kind of thing. So I hit up Google Fiber on a bunch of different avenues and said, hey, so is this confirmed? Like, are we getting service? Because all we've seen so far is just, construction on the street, but I want to make sure that, it's not just, oh, you're the middleman. We're actually going 3 streets down, but we need to run it through your neighborhood to get to that street. But who cares about your street? Like, that's a worst case scenario kind of thing.
Jeez.
That's my luck, right? It's like, no, you're not actually getting it. No, this is for your neighbors, like 3 streets down. You, on the other hand, who cares? A buddy of mine taught me an interesting thing, because I've always had this situation where, like, you see all this construction going on near your house or near your freeway entrance or something that affects your commute, and it's like, for me, it's a two-way thought process. Number one is, I don't really care, like, unless it's in dire backup for like traffic or something. Most of the time I'm like, cool, they're fixing something, they're doing something. But I've always thought, wouldn't it be cool if they like put a sign up that's like, hey, what we're doing is we're repairing this street, so the entrance will be wider, or like just put up a thing that's like, why I, the commuter, should be excited for the construction. Like, make it interesting.
Well, yeah, they'll say like, I'm here putting your tax dollars to work.
Right. Yeah, like it'll just get you excited. And there isn't really a thing still there, but I found a way to get that information. which I'm super excited about. I found a website that you can go on for at least Utah, and I'm sure there's something similar for California, but you can go on and you can see an interactive map of like, what are people working on this street? What are people working on that street? And it's like, it tells you, okay, well, they're installing this or fixing that or, expanding this road or whatever. And not only that, but it also has like, I went off the deep end. I found out that on that website lists their permits, and you can look up those permits and you can see what they're doing, not only on the street, but like the intricate details of, they applied to have, for our street, for example, they said, okay, well, here's the application for putting fiber in all the houses, hooking up Google Fiber to these 300, 600 some odd houses, like where all the lines are going to be, where all the boxes in the road, where all the boxes in the streets are going to be, not the streets, let's try that one more time, where all the boxes on like the sidewalk are going to be, just everything. Sure. You can see everything on here, and it's nuts. It's like so much information, and I'm like, it just made me laugh because on the one side it's just super interesting because it's a whole side of the world I didn't even know existed. Like, I mean, I kind of knew because obviously it has to be there, but at the same time I didn't know that it was so like there and just very available to the public, which I thought was really cool. But my buddy was laughing at me, and he's like, "You really wanted to know where they were giving you service or not, didn't you?" And I'm like, Yes, I did. I'm not going to wait around. I'm not going to sit there with hopes and dreams. I want a yes or a no. I'm not, impatient. I'm willing to do the waiting, but sure. I just want a yes or a no. That's all I want. And
so you got your yes.
I got my yes. See, there is a public thing that says there's service being built on our street for this street to have service. And it says that it was delayed for 2 months due to COVID, but they're going to have service. Supposedly, I mean, of course, something else can happen, things can slow down, but currently the ETA is the 25th of this month.
Okay. It was surprising to me because I thought that Google Fiber wasn't going to get extended anywhere. That was the last that I had heard about it back in, I think it was like 2018.
Is that, so I had a question on that because I remember you offhandedly mentioning that several weeks ago. Could that be they're not doing any new cities? Because you know how when you go on their website, they're like, oh, hey, we're in all these cities. Put in your address if you're in one of those cities. Right. Could they just not be adding new cities to that list? Because this isn't a new city to that list. It's still Salt Lake.
Oh, yeah, I guess that would make more sense. But you would think that they would want to make it public to say, we're not adding new cities, but we are expanding our territory within the cities we already are in.
I mean, I can see why immediately they don't want to do that. That already just doesn't sound super inviting. Like that immediately tells me like, oh, why aren't you expanding? Why aren't you, like, that's negative news for your company.
Not necessarily. I mean, the infrastructure layout of fiber is not easy. So to me, I would completely understand. Like, they're not going to bring it up to Vacaville.
Right, but
they're not.
There's your answer is you understand. You, Tony, who is all about tech and all this stuff, understands.
Fine.
But mom and dad are going to look at the website and go, all I'm seeing is they're not expanding. I don't understand it. All they got to do is lay cable. How hard is that?
If it ever does come up here, that would be awesome, which would be nice because you would think a Bay Area company would have better connections, just of the outlining Bay Area, but that's just not the case, unfortunately.
Hey, never say never. I never thought I'd get it.
Hey guys, thanks a lot for listening. This was another wonderful episode with Quinnton. Where can people find you?
On Instagram and Xbox at Firewall.
You can find me those places under Lazy Tech Tony. We're both under Still Recording Podcast on Instagram. We have a Reddit. We also have a YouTube channel, and all other links for our socials and other projects that we have are in the description down below. We will see you guys in just a couple of weeks, and we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Hi.